From the Figure 4 Online Studios in beautiful Bothell, Washington, exclusively at WrestlingObserver.com, you're listening to The Bryan and Vinny Show with your hosts, Bryan Alvarez and Big Vinny V.
All right, everybody, it's the Bryan and Vinny Show here, November 17, 2019, figure4online.com/wrestlingobserver.com. Granny's joining us here, as always, on Sunday night. A lot to get into here today. Granny, what's going on?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Whose voice is that for your introduction?
It's just a guy.
Oh, nobody you know?
It's nobody you know, Granny.
A professional voiceover performer.
He's a guy that does the voiceovers for Bellator, believe it or
That
not.
sounds like a real man.
Thank you, Granny. What's that supposed to mean?
Well, I
don't sound like a real man?
Are we at it at starting?
Excuse me?
What?
What's going on today, Granny? What's happening?
Let's see. It was real misty out, so I went to the dollar store and stocking up on stuff just in case I get snowed in.
What kind of stuff
Snowed in?
What kind of stuff do you stock up on at the dollar store in case there's like a great deal of snow?
Paper products and peanut butter and all kinds of stuff like that.
Okay, so when you go to the dollar store, Granny, is everything actually $1? Like if you went to get like a big roll of paper towels, is that $1? Mm-hmm. And if you went and got whatever, like is everything there $1? Is there anything that's $2?
Sometimes they have canned food for 89 cents, but other than that, everything's $1.
So nothing is over $1, but some stuff might be less than $1.
Yeah, and then they have...
So like if you wanted a nickel, they're not going to charge you $1.
No.
Okay. All right, so anyway, what do we got here today, Vinny? Sounds like we're on our way to a really exciting show here.
I wanted to tell you about that. They have so many cute ones on there. I put short, but they have some long ones, but even the long ones...
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, what is it this week, Vinny?
Oh, it was your idea, Bryan.
I know, but I don't remember what we did last week. What's the contest, Vinny?
They're real cute, though.
Okay, what's the contest, Vinny?
Bryan's pick for a contest. Write a Thanksgiving/Undertaker short mashup poem.
And a Thanksgiving/Undertaker mashup poem.
I took it off of last week's.
All right, I got it. Well, let's hear it, Vinny.
We'll begin with Tim Page. Thanksgiving in Death Valley. What does the dead man eat? Turkey, all the fixins, and even something sweet. But they deep-fried the turkey, and it was filled with grease. To the cook, said Taker, rest in peace.
That's not bad.
Oh,
Tim has never won, if I recall correctly, but he's always got like
yes,
a very...
Yes, he has.
Tim Page has won?
I think he has.
Regardless, we're off to a good
I
start.
think that was the last one, in fact.
Did he really? I don't remember this.
I'm not sure, but I know the name. I know he's won.
Well, I know the name too. Okay, go ahead, Vinny.
Steve Rice. From Death Valley came a man who never ate cranberry sauce from a can. In his entrance he walked a mile, and he never cracked a smile, except Granny, who was his biggest fan.
You know, these poems are getting a lot better. We've had some really horrible poems in the past. And it's worse now because all I do is read Dr. Seuss to Paisley. And so I've got only the greatest rhymes every single night I read to her. So that's what I'm expecting here, everybody.
Dr. Seuss level.
Yeah,
rhyme
so
schemes.
you can rhyme noob with gloob, whatever, as long as it rhymes, as long as it's good. You know what I'm saying?
Noob with gloob, you say.
Yeah, Dr. Seuss made up a lot of words.
Well, he did.
Yeah, that's the point I'm making right here. I just want it to be good rhyming poetry. And RD, if you're listening, The book that you got Paisley when you came up here for Granny's birthday, she loves that book. I have to read that book like 5 times every night before bed. Go ahead, Vinny.
Colin Cox. Granny's favorite wrestler is Undertaker.
Colin Cox?
Yeah, it's a name. It could well be someone's name. Granny's favorite wrestler is Undertaker. For Thanksgiving dinner, he did take her.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Took her out to dinner.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Okay.
For Thanksgiving dinner, Brian.
He took her.
He did take her.
Wow.
So it rhymes with Undertaker. I will begin again.
Yeah, I'll start over
I
again.
think you've ruined the flow.
I'm gonna just back off for a while.
Colin Cox, Brian. Granny's favorite wrestler is Undertaker.
Got it?
For Thanksgiving dinner, he did take her. With turkey and stuffing, she wanted for nothing except a cake from a baker.
That's cute.
This next one has a dozen likes.
Oh, really?
This is a lot.
Wow.
Jay O'Leary. As they sat round the table all ready to feast on Thanksgiving turkey, a marvelous beast, Taker exclaimed he was ready for bed. So Granny got up and slapped round his head. The veg all went flying. Taker fell to his knees. Granny looked in his eyes and said, "Rest in peas."
Get it?
I do.
Vegetable.
I got it,
You know what?
Granny.
Hang on.
Now we got 13 likes?
Now it has 13 likes.
Wow.
I actually did love, so.
Can I unlike Ken coughing at the top of his lungs in the background here, being picked up here on these mics? All right, what's next? That's a good one. That's the winner so far, based on likes.
Whoever gets the most likes
Didn't
wins.
they say that like Facebook was going to get rid of likes or something like that, or
Who knows?
because there's still plenty of likes here on Granny's contest?
All right, this next one is a little long, but per Granny's request, I shall read it anyway. It's also from Rohan Unrao, a top fan. It's Thanksgiving in Bothell, and who should show up but a tall man in black with an urn for a cup. He removed his coat that read Dead Man Ink. His cold purple eyes made everyone think. Why did he come here? What's in it for him? A meal without the dead man is certainly grim. With Bryan and Vinny, our sweet Granny said, "Please tombstone the turkey to make sure that it's dead."
These are some really good poems, Granny.
I know, that one was just
These
great.
are really good. I don't
really
even know
like
what to
that
do
one.
about this contest.
Dude, rest in peas.
Rest in peas is very good.
I know what to do with this contest.
These are really good.
That could have been 3 words long, and I would have voted for it. Ryan Byers. For The Undertaker, Thanksgiving can be depressing. On the road with WWE, there is no cranberry sauce, turkey, or dressing. Then one day the dead man developed a plan to have Turkey Day dinner while working for Vince McMahon. From his wife Michelle's freshly cooked bird, he removed a giblet and saved it for later by stuffing it in his gothic wrestling singlet. Now, see, that's a throwback. That's a throwback to the days of bad poetry.
Well, he tried. He wasn't deliberately bad.
Really?
I feel like we've had people deliberately bad in the past.
You think
he
he
wanted
pulled
to
out-
write something with giblet. What are you going to rhyme with giblet? Niblet?
If you're a good poet, you find another word.
Find me another word that rhymes with giblet.
No, that's my point, Brian. If you're
see.
a good poet, you don't.
Well, he wants to use giblet.
That's because he's a bad poet.
Oh, Vinny.
Or he's trying to be bad.
I thought that was below average. But he tried.
So bad then.
I wouldn't say bad.
Lewis-
Trust me, if we keep reading, we'll get a bad one. It's inevitable. It's like callers on Observer Live.
That's like 100% rate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lewis Brown. Thanksgiving isn't held here in Britain, but at the chance to write a poem, I have bitten. I'm thankful for Brian's nan and her love of the dead man, and at every single guilt trip, I'm smitten.
See, very, very good. He used Nan, rhymed it with dead man, because he's
Thank
from...
you for explaining that.
I know that, you idiot. I liked that one. These are all good, Granny. Have you chosen one?
Kind of.
I don't think I can.
I really like that long one, though.
Oh, people are going to be upset about this now.
That long one.
Rohan Unrao. I assume.
Talking about the one that's got 13 likes, Granny, or the
No, the
one that rhymed
Yeah.
giblet with singlet?
No. The
13
one with the
likes one.
J Lyric. That's
Yeah.
the longest one.
All right.
Where were we here? Edgar Montiel. This Thanksgiving, I asked Taker for advice about roasting the bird, so it turns out nice. Low and slow, he said, but certainly not least. Before carving the bird, let it rest in peace.
Very good. Very good.
really cute.
Matthew James Sullivan. Thanksgiving meals through. Turkey puts Taker to sleep. Rest in peace, dead man.
See, I told you. I told you that it was inevitable. Is that a haiku?
It is a haiku.
No. I don't like haikus.
It didn't rhyme.
I want strong rhyming poetry. Creative.
I will read it again now that I realize it's a haiku. Matthew James Sullivan. Thanksgiving meals through. Turkey puts Taker to sleep. Rest in peace, dead man.
I don't like it. I mean, why is a haiku? I got a question about haikus. Why? Why?
Because some people like haikus, Brian.
No, my question is, they don't rhyme. So who came up, Vinny? Hey,
I'm listening.
who came up with how many words per line? And why was that scheme so important?
Well, let's find out. Haiku, a very short form of Japanese poetry.
Japanese?
Yeah, haikus are Japanese, Brian, Granny.
Ah.
Well, I was hoping for a longer or shorter explanation that got right to the point.
Not going to find one.
I'll get into this at some point.
All right, I want an answer next week. Why?
Not for me.
Ken's Googling it.
That's what I did at Wikipedia. Andrew G. Caruth. The Undertaker was hosting Thanksgiving for his family. He decided on a theme of misery. It was dank, dreary, and frankly pretty terrible. His promo afterwards was incomprehensible.
You rhymed terrible with incomprehensible.
And family with misery,
Well, I mean, they both end with an E and with
guess.
an a bull.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Johnny Stewart.
You know what I want to get you for Christmas, Vinny? It's something to oil that chair. It's so creaky.
Give me a new chair.
Well, let's not get crazy. The irony is that's Craig's chair that we gave you, and now he has that wooden chair.
Yeah, I don't know why Craig bothers us anymore, honestly. We treat him so badly.
I didn't treat him badly. It's just that's
Make
how
him
it
sit in
ended
this
up.
chair.
Well, what do you want? You want him to stand? I don't have another chair.
Johnny Stewart. At a bountiful banquet is where Granny sat, next to a zombie wizard with his quaint little hat. During Thanksgiving, never be apart from those who you love deep in your heart.
That was a nice one. That rhymed good.
It did.
That
Granny.
rhymed good.
It rhymed good.
That rhymed good.
Brian Newell. Come to my house for Thanksgiving, Taker glared. You'll be served so much food, you'll be filled with despair. I've cooked you turnips and potatoes you will love at first bite. Your company will be all my creatures of the night. My turkey is delicious, but you only need one piece. Before the tryptophan hits your blood, you must rest in peace.
Can't tell if that wasn't very good or if it was your delivery.
Do you, think,
It's always questionable.
do you think you could do better?
Well, I don't know. I wasn't looking at it, but, you know, sometimes when there's multiple words, there's a certain cadence to it to make it work right.
Drafted to read these entries. I didn't volunteer.
I'm just saying, Vinny. I'm not saying it's your fault. It could very well be that guy's fault. There's just a lot of words.
Vinny's doing fine.
Thank you, Granny.
I didn't say he wasn't. I just asked a question.
It said it was possible.
It is possible.
Basically a 50-50 shot.
Not necessarily, Vinny. What, is this like a four-way where everyone has 25% chance? Maybe there was a 10% chance it was your fault, 90% his.
Well, then why bring it up?
I'm just wondering.
Come on, you guys.
Chris Wise. The night before the feast, he was stealing some souls. He ran to the kitchen to eat some fresh rolls. He asked Granny.
See, that was your fault.
Well, I was doing fine until you laughed.
I got it, sure.
I will start over. Chris Wise. The night before the feast, he was stealing some souls. He ran to the kitchen to eat some fresh rolls. He asked Granny when dinner was done, so he can sit down and eat a ton. He ate all his food and went back for more. Then suddenly there was a knock at the door. The handle on the knob, it started to turn. Paul Bearer was there and said, "You forgot your urn."
That's another cute one.
Pretty good, Vinny. Pretty good reading there.
Thanks, Brian. I do my best.
Yes.
He does good.
Thank you, Granny.
You done good.
Rhymed good. Done good. Sarah Resch. Thanksgiving for some is hell in a cell. Rather buried alive than with family, some yell. Others feast so greatly they end up on the floor. The turkey's an undertaker with the tryptophan galore. Enjoy the green bean casket roll, old school mashed potatoes, caned cranberry sauce, plus the phenom pie.
Vinny threw his hands up. That's a first.
Plus the phenom pie that Uncle Mark brings over. Things are going so well. Don't choke slam on a turkey bone. Keep being undead. And if everything goes wrong, there's always a tombstone pizza instead. I believe she rhymed mashed potatoes with brings over.
Well, that's bad. But you know what, Vinny? She tried.
She did try.
Yeah, maybe she got confused putting that line together.
I'm not used to reading these long ones, man. Chad McLaughlin.
When did we okay long ones, by the way? It just happened?
Granny today when we started the show. If you
Okay.
had been listening, you
All
would have
right.
heard her. Chad McLaughlin.
I think I'm listening.
I rarely am, so I can't get that upset. It was a magical Thanksgiving where many gathered to break bread. There was Bryan, Vinny, Granny, and the man that is dead.
She said Big Red.
Vinny was excited with hunger on his brain. Then who should arrive but the man they call Cain? He walked in and stared his brother in the eye, then embraced him with love and said, "I brought the pie." So they all sat and feasted on Granny's wonderful spread, with food as delicious as Cain's outfit was red. Bryan and Taker reached for the last piece of turkey on the bone. It didn't end well for Bryan. He received a Thanksgiving tombstone. Then off to his coffin for a nap Taker went. It was a magical Thanksgiving. All but Bryan left content.
So was this a combination Thanksgiving, Christmas, Granny, and Undertaker poem?
There was no Christmas there.
It was very festive.
What's a past holiday?
It seemed like it was a takeoff of the night before Christmas.
It might have been. Yeah, it was a magical Thanksgiving.
Let's do two more.
Matthew Parker. The turkey is dead, just like me. Come to my Thanksgiving, or you will rest in peace. Lightning strikes the turkey as Druid's feast.
Lightning struck that poem right there. All right, one more.
Top
Let's
fan.
do a main event.
Chris Sands, a top fan. We don't celebrate Thanksgiving in... that's my fault. Brian, that's 100%
I didn't
on me.
say a word.
No, I'll acknowledge that one.
Okay.
Chris Sands, a top fan. We don't celebrate Thanksgiving in England, but we all know of the famous dead man. Up on top of that cell, he sent McFoley to hell, all just to please his fave, Gran.
Why don't we do one more?
Try to end on a high note.
Yeah. I should always start with one more when we hit a good one.
Brian, we could do them all and forget my...
No, you get out of here.
You want to do
There's so
my-
much good wrestling that I need to hear about this week.
Oh, yeah.
Edward Munoz. Dead man walking, turkey in hand. With sodas and pies, the store-bought brand. Granny offered to compensate, but Taker said save it. For out of all my fans, you are my favorite.
Oh, now that is a good one to end on.
That's cute.
That was a good one. I always like poems with the word like compensate. Some big complicated word. You know what I'm saying? It's even better if you rhyme it with something else.
I see.
Which he didn't do, but... All right, Granny, what's the winner? Let me guess. The one that got 13 likes?
Brian, it was your contest, so you pick.
I think we got to go with the one that got 13 likes.
Works for me.
Read it again, Vinny. Who was it?
Jay O'Leary.
Jay O'Leary.
Actually, that's what I had written down here.
See? So we all agree.
Should I read it anyway?
You should read it anyway, Vinny.
I hope he isn't from out of country.
We should check before we award this man some sort of prize. He has. Oh, I can't get information. I am not his friend. So I can't tell you. Yeah.
Wow. Must have buried him once or something.
Probably. Jay O'Leary. As they sat round the table, all ready to feast on Thanksgiving turkey, a marvelous beast, Taker exclaimed he was ready for bed. So Granny got up and slapped round his head. The veg all went flying. Taker fell to his knees. Granny looked in his eyes and said, "Rest in peas."
Excellent.
I love that one.
All right, that's the winner, Granny. There you go.
Okay.
All right, now we're all going to be winners as Granny does her weekly wrestling report.
205 Live, November 15th. Gallagher versus Gaza. Twisting Gallagher's body with a body spin.
Does that mean when he takes his pants off, it's the Gaza Strip?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Garza, Granny, Garza.
With face down, landing for Gallagher. Double underhook by Gallagher. Headbutt by on Gaza. Gaza comes back for the win. So Gallagher, I gave that a 6. Okay, then there are NXT 13. Oops, how come I got the 13th down here?
I don't know. What's going on?
Rush versus Angle. Now, I have a question on this
Angle?
one. Angel.
Angel.
Okay,
Who's
now,
the same guy that was in the other match that you were reviewing, Granny?
that's what I was going to ask you.
Yes.
The one and only Angle Gaza.
Angle Gaza, yes.
Okay. 2 minutes and 2 minutes and 2 counts. Jim moves all around. Back against chest, kick on the back of Russ' neck for a clipper. Up on corner.
Hold on. Hold on a second, Granny. Are you kidding me?
What?
For a clipper?
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
He clipped him.
Actually, that is his finish, the wing clipper.
It is.
He clipped him on the back of his neck.
Oh, so it wasn't the wing clipper. Start over again, Granny, please.
Back against chest, kick on back of Rush's.
Granny, hold on a second. I don't mean to stop you, but this is a serious question. Do you put commas or periods in your reviews?
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay, you just rattled off a list of words there. All right, I won't interrupt. One more time. Start over.
Back against the chest. Kick on back of Rush's neck for a clipper. Up on corner rope, both fall face down. Face kick on Rush, both up on rope again. Rush gives Angel a hard headbutt. They fall. Rush tries for a count. Rush almost cries for no 3 count. And in that one, it stopped right there, so I didn't know who won it.
Oh, no.
It went on to something else.
You were on your way to your greatest review of all time, and we don't even have a finish.
So, wait a minute. That wasn't the one. I do have down here, but it says, I made this, I did this wrong. I did find, Rush did win it, because he got back his title. But it was another match I watched that was there. End of it didn't show who won it.
Well, what score did Angel and Leo get?
7.
Oh,
Very good.
Okay, now this one I'm not sure of. It's a super showdown. Shane and McIntyre come out. Shane fights Reigns. Is that possible? I saw it, though.
If you saw it, I'm pretty sure it's possible. Granny.
Anything can happen, Granny.
Unless it was a video game.
Reigns elbows Shane's face. Shane gets on chin subhold. McIntyre outside the ring attacks Reigns while the ref is distracted. Shane fights dirty. Gives Reigns a big headbutt for the win.
Shane McMahon beat Roman Reigns with a headbutt?
Yeah, that's what it says.
Who are you to question what Granny wrote?
Hey,
Yeah, right. Don't question me here. I gave that a 7. Okay.
Shane McMahon and Roman Reigns was as good as Leo Rush and Angle Gaza.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Then now I have more predictions for 2020.
I can't wait.
Great.
Okay, here's what I saw.
We should write these down, Granny, so when 2020 is over, we can go back and see how many of these came true.
Okay, I'll save this one.
Okay.
Lashley and Lana get married.
That's not impossible.
Wait a minute. Later it said Lana gave up Lashley to go back to Russo.
To Russo?
Yeah, wasn't it Lana and Russo?
That would be a swerve.
That would definitely be a swerve. It's Rusev.
Oh, okay.
Two
whatever.
very, very different people.
Oh, it's Russo's the German guy or Russian or something?
That's Rusev.
Oh, so that's not the guy I was thinking of.
No, that is the guy you were thinking of. It
I was
doesn't
thinking
matter.
of the Russian.
Yes, you were thinking of the Russian. No, you
Okay.
were. It doesn't matter.
Okay, next one is Shane returns on Monday Night Live for revenge.
I assume that'll happen like 5 times.
Okay. And then what's with Wyatt and the ugly mask? Now he's a big famous guy. And they say he's going to get arrested.
He's gonna get
Arrested.
arrested?
They're predicting crime.
Wow.
I don't know why, but
I mean, did they specify what he was going to do to get arrested, or just
No,
he's...
they just said Wyatt was going to get arrested.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. And then the Undertaker comes out of retirement.
He's not retired.
Oh, I thought he was. Oh, shit.
What a list of predictions.
Okay. Anyway, it said that. And I want to know, did he really burn down the funeral home that his parents were in?
Well, Granny was on the internet.
It must be true.
Well, they must have been dead already if they were in the funeral home.
Well, maybe they worked at the funeral home. He burned it down when they were in there and killed them.
Oh. And did he start wrestling in 1990?
Actually started wrestling before 1990.
Oh, according to this, it was 1990. And then John Cena wins the Universal title.
John Cena?
Uh-huh.
I'd be very surprised if that happened. That guy's practically retired.
And Rock returns.
Well, Rock returns all the time.
Okay, and then Alexa Bliss goes missing.
What?
And it's a big troublemaker.
Is a big troublemaker.
What?
Yeah. She goes missing.
Well, that's sad. Can we start looking for her now before she disappears?
I mean, she's kidnapped?
I don't know. She just it said she was depressed or something, and she just disappeared.
This is a prediction.
Yeah.
Okay.
What a grim prediction.
You know, I don't allow grim predictions like that on my prediction show, Granny. That's unacceptable.
Oh, okay. I'll keep this, and then if it comes for real...
We'll know to follow that YouTube page.
Okay, I did watch another one with Nikki and Blair. It's just a regular up and down thing, and clotheslines on Blair, and as usual, poor Nikki gets the heck beat out of her. And then Nikki makes Belair hang upside down in the corner, and Belair wins it as usual.
Cool.
I just wanted to watch one with Nikki in it. Okay, I'm done.
Did you score that one?
Oh,
In case we want to look it up.
Since I like her, I'll give it a 7.
You almost gave that a 9.
I almost gave it an 8, but I decided to give it
Okay.
7.
It was not quite an 8, everybody. It was merely a 7. All right, anything else, Granny?
Only one thing, I blew my temper again this week one time.
What have you been kicked out of now?
The bank.
Oh, that's the problem.
Wow. Well, what happened?
Well, I went to about a month ago. The Chase Bank in Bothell was redecorating, and you couldn't do the outside window or anything, you know. So and somebody said they were going to quit doing the window thing. So when I drove up there, I thought, you know, and it was open and everything. I went in to cash a check, and there you cannot do any kind of business in that place.
So you screamed at him?
Well, she said, well, can we just deposit it? And I said, no. So now I have to go down to Woodinville
Oh, my Lord.
to cash my check.
Isn't that closer anyway?
I was going to say, you live practically in
Well,
Woodinville.
I'm actually 2 miles either way.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter.
Well, but I just kind of like to go in the bottle to meet the girls for coffee, though.
I understand,
All right,
sure.
that's
Well, you
fair,
know they
yeah.
could go to Woodinville.
Well, and sometimes they come to Hagen's and have lunch with me. So
That's a nice
okay.
place, isn't it, Granny?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
All
have
right.
I have a bank there, too, at Hagen's, so I can transfer my money anytime I want.
Well, it sounds to me like you guys should meet for coffee at Hagen, and you can do your banking there.
Well, that's you. They don't like to come too often, but Nikki's so busy. In fact, I've got a message right here from her. She's sending me some pictures.
She sounds super busy.
She already got her Christmas stuff out.
She sounds so busy.
I know.
Okay.
Build a thing for her kitty and
This is
enough
just
family
like-
stuff.
Okay. Anything else, Granny?
Yes, I want to hold the baby.
Okay. Anything else?
Not tonight, you don't, Granny.
Other than that,
You do not want to hold her
yeah,
tonight.
she barfed like you wouldn't believe tonight.
Oh, really?
Oh,
What happened?
she's a baby. That's
I
all they do.
She must have ate too much.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you later, Granny.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Well, we survived that.
We did. So I found something here. I don't know. If
Ken's doing some research too, so why don't you go first, and then we'll see what he figured out.
Well, I was going to read one very quick thing here, and this will either make you happier or even more irate about the concept
Gee, I wonder
of
which
haikus.
it'll be.
Well, I honestly don't know.
Okay.
In 1973, the Haiku Society of America.
I thought you were going to say like the International Haiku Society.
Close.
I know. I just knew this was coming.
Noted that the norm for writers of haiku in English was to use 17 syllables, but they also noted a trend toward shorter haiku. Shorter haiku are very much more common in 21st century English haiku writing.
So it's not even the number of words. It's supposed to be the number of syllables.
Well, it's supposed to be, although this is going over my head, but apparently it's 17 Japanese on, O-N, in italics, which is not necessarily the same thing as an English syllable. I am just reading this here.
And who made this determination?
Well, that part's still unknown.
No. What, the first thing.
The Haiku Society of America.
So the Haiku Society of America
Yes.
is making decisions about the Japanese haiku.
Yes.
All right. What did you learn, Ken? Anything?
Well, this is the internet, so this could be true, but apparently Japanese culture was very rigid, and so they wanted their
that's true.
poetry to be very rigid.
I see. I do too. But it can rhyme. Think about that, Vinny.
I just did my best to answer your question.
All right. Well, let's do NWA World Championship Wrestling.
NWA World Championship Wrestling, November 19th, 1988.
I was really hoping for superstars this week. We only have, 2 left? 3 left?
What we're going to do Saturday night's main event.
That's true. That's
So
true.
that'll be, next week we get Survivor Series. So the week after that, I guess, is that SNME. NWA World Championship Wrestling, November 19th, 1988. We open with clips of a tag match with the Fantastics against the Varsity Club, which in this case is Mike Rotunda and Dr. Death. Now, Kevin Sullivan had announced that Dr. Death had joined the Varsity Club, but we never saw him with the group before, and I had assumed that he was lying about it, but no.
No. He was in the
Dr. Death
Varsity
is
Club.
in the Varsity Club.
There's a lot of stuff on this show that stuff happens that we don't even know about
This
until
is-
later.
I think this was the flag. Well, this was on TBS. It was for sure the flagship show, but it was not the entire show. And they don't always show. Like, we never saw the moment when Doc came out with Rotunda and Sullivan. But
Well,
anyway,
no, but they also had the main event on Sunday. And I guess things
Yes.
must have happened there.
there's the main event on Sunday.
But you would
There's-
think that, like, if you have something called the main event on Sunday and something happens, you would show footage of it on your Saturday night 2-hour show.
Yes.
We need more time for Bam Bam Bigelow versus Trent Knight that went like 30 minutes.
So they're doing this tag match. The fans are chanting for Steiner. Rotunda tries a suplex, and we see Rick Steiner reach in to grab Rotunda's feet, and the match freezes and the credits roll. The announcers run down what will be on the show, including our very first Starrcade update.
Yeah, what an update that was.
And as Brian noted, our opener is Bam Bam Bigelow versus Trent Knight.
Well, they did also note in the opening segment that Luger and Sting were going to wrestle today, and it was Sting's first TV match since the Road Warriors tried to kill him.
Yes.
So, if you remember, the Road Warriors tried to kill Sting, but then on the very next show, he was totally fine cutting a promo. So why hasn't he been on the show since they attacked him? That's odd.
I don't know if he was totally fine. He was like in the studio with the TV behind him.
Yeah, but he seemed fine.
Well, he's back now. So, Bam Bam and Trent here wrestled for like 20 minutes.
Easily.
And all I wrote about the entire thing was Bam Bam wins with Enziguri and Gourdbuster.
Yeah.
He has not been lighting my world on fire here. They brought him in. They brought him in to feud with everyone. He's feuding with Flair and Barry Windham and teaming with Dusty. It's not going well.
I will say, well, actually, because now I've seen more of the show. At the time, it's like, man, these fans they're sure into this Bam Bam Bigelow. And then they go to Sir Oliver Humperdinck, and he's cutting a promo with Bigelow. And as they're talking, the fans, there are these fans that are just going out of their minds. And Bigelow's yelling at the fans, and they're yelling at him in a positive way. They like each other. And it turns out there were like, I don't know, a half dozen really, really rowdy fans there in the front row.
They were flexing and, yeah.
They were so out of their minds that at one point on the show, they start banging their hands on the ring apron. Fans!
Yeah.
You can't touch the ring.
Not supposed to.
No. This was weird.
So Bam Bam wins, and he and Humperdinck go to cut a promo. So Humperdinck is doing all the talking at first. He plugs Battlestars 88, which
The road to Starrcade.
We're still waiting to hear when and where this is going to happen. Before Starrcade, apparently.
Well,
So,
what week was this?
November 19th.
So it should have been like the following week.
They've only got like 5 weeks until
Because
Starrcade.
it was the Thanksgiving weekend.
Ah, I see. Yes. Well, we still don't know.
This is a poor build to Battlestars 88.
It's way up there with the worst builds for anything ever, honestly. I don't know when or where or what's on it, other than it is Battlestars 88, and it is the road to Starrcade. So here, as you noted, the fans were going out of their minds. I don't know why, but the fans were drowning out Humperdinck's promo.
I couldn't hear a word he said.
Yeah.
He may have gave us the whole card for Battlestars.
That's actually
88.
true. It's possible. Finally, he has Bam Bam lean over so they can focus on the tattoos in his head. And Humperdinck informs us he got his first tattoo in 9th grade. He did not wait till he joined the Navy. So now Bam Bam is going to finish up. And he looks, if this camera on here is looking at him, he looks over here and he says, Starrcade! And then he realizes he's looking at the wrong camera, so he looks over here, but they switch cameras, so he's really over here and he says, True Grit! And he realizes they switched again, so he goes back over here, Battlestars! Like 4 times. This poor guy, every time he switches, they switch the camera on him, and finally he just gives up and stops.
You know what I don't understand, and maybe somebody from this era can explain this to me. I've mentioned this before about this stupid hard cam in WWE. Like, they teach all of these wrestlers to work the hard cam. Whereas in New Japan, for example, you work the match, and it's like the cameraman and the director's job to capture the action, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't watch sports, but I'm pretty sure when you're playing football, you just play. Right?
If things go very, very well, you might have time to find the camera, but it's not.
But you don't run towards a certain camera.
It's way down the list of priorities.
Okay. So to me, you having to work for the hard camera, that should be the director's job and the camera people. Your job is to wrestle. Why do you have to make their job easier by working towards a hard camera?
I don't know.
Okay. So why did these guys in the studio, why did they have to pay attention to what camera they were talking into? Can't they just talk into a camera and the director will just switch to that camera?
That would be nice.
This happened all the time. Flair would yell at the camera guy or the director. Yes. Sting's just confused.
Also, a good question is, why do you even need 2 cameras?
I have no idea.
It's a promo.
And all those times that Paul Jones' eyes are just darting all over the place, he doesn't even know what's going on.
He may have just been doing that anyway. That may be an unrelated issue.
Just look at a camera, and they'll switch to that camera.
The Fantastics versus Joe Cruz and Mike Jackson. They're just doing a squash match. Mike Jackson is a very good wrestler. Joe Cruz is pretty bad. And the Fantastics tried a new finish this week. A double slingshot suplex. It went horrible, and I assume they don't try it again next week.
By the way, think about all the times that Tully did a slingshot suplex alone.
Yeah.
This was 2 men doing it, and they couldn't figure it out.
I think that may have made it more complicated because now you got to get the timing right.
I see.
So,
well, anyway, my take on this match. We mention all the time how fantastic Mike Jackson is. And I'm a huge fan of Mike Jackson. I love watching Mike Jackson wrestle. If I had the opportunity, and I know he's still working, I would have a match with Mike Jackson. But with that said, Mike Jackson was the guy who brought a lot of these jobbers to TV. They all sucked. Did he ever train anybody who was any good?
I don't know.
I'd like the answer to that question. Hopefully there's like a long list, and just he brought the bottom of the barrel here to get beaten up. But man, oh man, this is a poor troupe that he is bringing to the studios every week.
Jim Cornette and the Midnight Express cut a promo.
This is where the barf break occurred. My daughter was brought in.
During this promo?
Yes.
It was the next match where things got really exciting.
Whitney brought her in, presenting her like the Lion King.
Let's take it from the beginning. When you're in here watching shows,
yes,
you're working.
Yeah.
So you almost never get interrupted.
Yes.
Every once in a while, Paisley will come in and kiss you goodnight and go to bed. But
yeah, she does not understand the rules.
Well, no. But Whitney doesn't interrupt you because she doesn't want to hang out with us anyway. Yeah. But also she knows you're working. So when she comes in here, it's usually pretty newsworthy.
Well, I can tell you that before she came in here, I heard a lot of movement downstairs when the baby was supposed to be getting ready to go to sleep. And I knew something was up.
So Whitney comes in with the baby, as you noted, holding her out like the Lion King. And she's wrapped in some burrito thing. I don't even know.
She's swaddled.
Okay, yeah.
It's a sleep sack.
And I'm not around babies all the time, so it's not immediately clear to me what's wrong.
It wasn't to me either.
Well,
she's holding the baby out, and I'm looking at the baby, and the baby's just smiling,
happy as
looking around. Yeah. I'm like, why are you bringing me this child?
And then you looked at Whitney, who had been painted.
Oh, there was so much barf from her shoulder, like down to her knee.
Yes.
Like, I'm not sure. I don't even know where this all came from.
It can't have been from that one baby. There's another baby around her
No,
somewhere.
It was from that one baby.
So then Whitney went in to describe the detail of what happened and how the baby wasn't even on the shoulder, as she tells it. The baby was away and down and basically vomited up at her. And
then it went down.
Some of it did, but she also was clear to say it did not all go down.
Yes.
So she wasn't sure she even got it all. So it was so, as noted, Whitney does not usually interrupt the show, but this was so dire that you had to hold the baby while she went and showered and changed.
Yes.
So she hands you the baby. Baby gets settled in. As noted, baby was fine.
Oh, yeah, baby's 8 weeks old.
This was a massive vomit, but it was no way traumatic.
I sat her on my lap, and we watched NWA together.
Watched Eddie Gilbert. I'm sorry, the Midnight Express promo first.
So we're just watching it, and I figure, okay, Vinny's going to recap the Cornette promo, and then there's not really a lot that I need to say about this Eddie Gilbert-David Isley match. So I was just going to sit here and watch the show with Hanalei. So we're watching the show and everything's happy, and she's just watching the TV. And then, this was when the fans started pounding on the apron.
I see.
So I went to type. And in moving closer, she all of a sudden turned the other way, and now there's all these microphones and cameras to look at.
Yes.
Now she's just looking all over the room like, oh, this is so great. But she's calm as can be. Mm-hmm. And we went through a full Cornette promo and a full Eddie Gilbert match before Whitney finally came back with a new outfit on. And I said, she's been great. She's been sitting here the whole time watching the show. No barf. And the moment...
Your exact words, Brian, were, I think she got most of it out.
I think she got most of it out.
And she just goes... Bleh.
The moment I said that, she just barfed all over again.
But again, not traumatic. This is the smoothest vomit you ever saw.
Nah, she just barfs a little bit, and then she smiles, and she looks around. She's happy as can be.
Yes.
That's what happened.
And then Winnie took her.
I gave the baby back, and that was just the end of that.
I haven't seen them since. I assume they're still fine.
Yeah, they're asleep now.
So, this Midnight's promo. Cornette explains that they had never said why Dennis Conti was fired from the Midnight Express in the first place. And he never said this because that's how Bobby Eaton wanted it, out of loyalty to Dennis. Now, of course, loyalty's out the window. Dennis has turned on them, so they're going to tell a story. Dennis had some, I believe he said personal issues or personal matters, but the point was he was losing focus. He was missing matches. He wasn't there on time. They tried to help him at first, but he quit on them. So he was gone. They brought in Stan Lane to replace him, only Stan Lane wasn't a replacement. He was an upgrade. Randy Rose is a great wrestler, a tough guy who's been beating people up all over the country, but he can't carry, what do you say? Something, but he can't even lick Bobby Eaton's boots. And as for me, people have called me a wimp. Maybe I need to work on that. But Paul E. Dangerously, you're not even a wimp. You're a worm. That means your spine is mushy, your guts are mushy, your heart is mushy. And I know Thanksgiving's coming up, but don't eat all that turkey because I still need room to shove this bloody jacket down your throat. It was a great promo.
A very good promo. Not as good as the promo the last time. It's one of the greatest promos I ever saw.
That's true.
But it was very good.
Eddie Gilbert versus David Isley. Here was where Paisley had her second win to vomit. Pardon me. Got your daughters confused. Hanalei got her second win to vomit in there. So Eddie beats him up for a long time, put him in a lot of hammer locks. I was ready to vomit. Isley made a comeback for some reason, and Eddie hit the hot shot and won.
Yeah, not much to say about this battle here, except for the fans touching the ring.
Sting and Lex Luger versus David Isley and Trent Knight. Now, if you've been paying attention, we've already seen David Isley and Trent Knight wrestle on the show.
Yeah.
This was from an arena somewhere. Actually,
you know what's funny is I still have no idea who these people are. You know how long we've been seeing David Isley and Trent Knight?
What's to know?
Well, if you watched New Japan and there was somebody who you had never seen before and they were in a very good match, if you didn't watch New Japan for 2 months and you came back and watched another show when they were there, you would remember who they are. Right?
Okay.
We see these guys every single week.
Yeah.
We have no idea who any of them are.
Because as you mentioned, Brian, you would remember someone if they had a good match.
Well, or they're really horrible.
Or they're
I'm just surprised that
horrible.
I can't pick these guys out of a lineup still.
Trent Knight is the low rent Magnum
With
TA
a few
knockoff.
exceptions.
David Isley, there's 500 guys who look like David Isley. So we're from an arena. We would later learn in Greenwood, South Carolina. Sting and Lex squash these guys. They try to do a double submission finish, but Lex is taking too long to put his guy in the torture rack, and so Sting's guy just gives up, and so Lex puts him in the move anyway. So we do a promo afterwards. Lex begins, seriously, he says, I want to say hi to everyone in Greenwood, South Carolina. I am known as a singles wrestler. Sting is known as a singles wrestler, but I am officially announcing we are a new tag team in the NWA.
If that wasn't abundantly obvious.
I guess there needs to be an official declaration.
I guess there needs to be
a statement.
There must be a declaration.
A public notification. So he's talking, and it's not bad, but it's a Lex Luger promo. And then we go to Sting, who's been off TV for like 6 weeks. I believe he spent all 6 weeks in one long, constant inhale. And he let it out here in the longest, loudest, rowdiest Sting scream ever. He declares he feels great. Says the Warriors turned on him because they were tired of carrying him. Well, Road Warriors, you never carried the Stinger nowhere. You never carried Lex Luger nowhere. We won the Crockett Cup. You know how much practicing we did for the Crockett Cup? Diddly squat. Now we're working together in and out of the ring. Imagine what we're going to do. And my neck feels unreal. he screams again.
Actually, he was in the middle of talking about his neck, and they just cut him off. That's enough of that guy.
Sting was, even Lex called him like the most charismatic athlete in wrestling. And he's like, well, he's the most charismatic athlete on the screen right now. That is for sure.
He looked like he spent the entire time off working out. He was jacked up here.
He would not be the first. Ron Simmons versus Terry Jones.
Okay. So Ron Simmons is Ron Simmons, and Terry Jones is just a skinny geek jobber, okay? Fine. I understand that. So the match starts, and they square off in the middle of the ring, and Terry Jones rears back, and he throws a punch at Ron Simmons. Ron Simmons then kills him, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, when he threw the punch at Ron Simmons, and it was ineffective, the announcer said, and I quote, "Bad plan, Terry Jones." Vinny.
Yes.
Let's pretend for 2 seconds it's real.
Okay, I'm listening.
What's Terry Jones supposed to do?
Well, I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? They were like, oh, I can't believe you threw a punch at Ron Simmons. I'm like, well, he's in a wrestling match with Ron Simmons. Obviously, it didn't work, but what do you want the guy to do?
Well, he could have...
Should he have just cowered and fled?
He could have stuck by the rules and wrestled in a gentlemanly manner.
Oh, yeah.
By using a dreaded closed fist, he has escalated things.
You know what he should have done is grabbed a hold on Ron Simmons.
Exactly.
That would have been a good plan. That's what you're telling me?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's also a bad plan.
I can't believe we got anything this exciting out of this match.
That's all I got out of it. I was laughing.
Ron Simmons
bad plan.
does an inset promo where he is whispering to the youth of America to wake up, stop waiting for mom and dad to tell you what's right and wrong. You know drugs are bad for you. Take responsibility for yourself. Just say no. But I'm not saying no to that world title.
What?
That's what he said.
I know. It was just funny that he segued that into that.
It was so weird. It's so weird. Ron puts him in several abdominal stretches. There's a lot of abdominal stretching going on. And then he did a move where he just picked him up and dropped him. It sounds like a botch. It was not a botch. It was a slam. He just dropped him. And then did a diving tackle and won. J.J. Dillon and Barry Windham came out for a promo. Dillon said no words here and they never returned. Easy day at the office.
Wyndham had his hair tied back, sunglasses, a suit. It's a very different look from Barry.
He was wearing a suit, but he had the shirt on, the tie that was tied but tied loosely, which I had forgotten was an 80s thing until Paul Lee had it later too. And he's got a button-up shirt, obviously, and a jacket, but he's wearing that over like a pleated baggy jeans. It was a very, very distinct 1980s look.
Wasn't the most 80 thing we saw.
No.
That's coming up next.
Not in a long way. So Wyndham says Bam Bam has been accusing him of ducking people or backing away from a fight. You don't win a championship by ducking people or backing away from a fight. If Bam Bam Bigelow thinks I'm going to back away, it's not going to happen. And he declares, this championship will remain with me until I want to do other things. And he leaves. Ominous foreshadowing, as it turns out, never went anywhere. We get our first Starrcade update.
Okay, did they announce one match for Starrcade?
No.
Okay.
They announced, they announced a date and a venue, so it's already ahead of Battlestars.
Well, that's true.
Has and a nickname. It's True Grit with 2 T's.
Why is there 2 T's?
So they can copyright it, I guess. That's like there's 2 R's in Starrcade. So it's Tony Schiavone and Magnum TA. They announced that Starrcade 88 will be on December 26th at the Scope in Norfolk, Virginia.
You couldn't copyright Starrcade with 1 R or trademark it? Is there another Starrcade I'm unaware of?
I don't know.
Anyway.
So Norfolk is Magnum's hometown. He has had many, many great matches there. The one thing, Brian, they did announce for the show, there will be a Straight Talk with the Boss segment.
Live
At Starrcade.
Aren't they all live? In theory.
He's in negotiations to land some big guests for Straight Talk with the Boss. So they promised there would be a promo We don't know who will be in it, but there will be a promo, Brian, at Starrcade 88 True Grit, December 26th, from the Scope in Norfolk, Virginia. So Tony says, Magnum TA, we all know you're retired now. You were a great wrestler once, and we'd like to take a look back at that right now. And we get essentially a funeral video.
We've seen this before.
Have we?
Yeah, because it's the one with his mother.
I remember his mom.
This is the same one that they aired. It's shot like he died.
Yes.
It's the one where he hugs his mother.
There's a long... Well,
there's a random bird flying around.
I'm going to go into detail about this thing. First, we see a sunset for like a minute. Then, yes, there's a seagull flying around. Then we see Magnum TA running in slow motion on the beach, like it's Baywatch. Then we see the back of Mama TA's head.
It's TA watch.
I suppose so. So there's her head, everyone. She's not turning around. She's not doing anything.
I thought it was Linda McMahon.
I can't say it was not, because all I saw was the back of this woman's head for like a minute. And then we go to another shot of Magnum running on the beach. And when I say running on the beach, there's this itty bitty little dot in the middle of the screen. It's bouncing up and down. I assume it was Magnum TA running towards the camera. But he is running like 5 miles in slow motion, and they're showing the entire run. He's running. He's running. And he's running. And he's running. Here's the bird again. Here's Mama TA's head. Here's running. And he's running. So I start to listen to the lyrics. Now, this is, of course, on the network, so there's a good chance that whatever song on here was edited out and replaced with whatever canon music they had available. But the man, as Magnum TA is running to his mother, is singing, "When love comes alive, we can say we tried, like lovers, side by side."
A love? Oh, forget it.
And his mother, finally, he gets there. He runs this marathon and arrives there. She hands him a towel. He takes her hand, and they start to walk down the beach. Okay, fine. It just keeps going.
Well, Vinny, let me explain this to the people.
There's more walking.
So they had a plan, and it is Magnum runs down the beach. He is united with his mother. He takes her hand, and they walk down the beach. That's the script, okay? The song is like 3 minutes and 30 seconds long. So somehow they had to fill 3 minutes and 30 seconds with this. That means he has to run for a minute in between, shots of his mom's head. Then he has to unite with his mother. Then he has to walk for a full minute holding her hand. In the middle of this, just so I don't see the same thing over and over, we get this damn bird, Jonathan Livingston Seagull, that we just see over and over again. This bird, I'm like, okay, there's a bird. I got it. We're at the beach. I knew that because they were in the sand. But apparently it was important to show us a bird. This is a boring show.
So they're walking down the beach. And that's it. It just goes on for a while. So Ross introduces the Fantastics match that opened the show. He explains, of course, the fans were all ready for Rick Steiner to say, "This is it. I'm done with the Varsity Club's abuse." So we get the hot tag, and we get the moment where Rotunda goes for a suplex, and Steiner reaches in and trips him. Now, we don't see what happened after this. It may have been a pin. I don't know. But Steiner trips Rotunda. The Fantastic falls on him. Sullivan goes and pushes Steiner, and Steiner hauls off, and he punches Kevin Sullivan in the face. Sullivan goes down. The place goes crazy. And then Dr. Death attacks, and Dr. Death and Rick Steiner have a hellacious brawl.
Oh, my God.
It's so awesome. These two terrifying madmen just wailing on each other.
I don't want to waste time on the show, but I just want to tell a quick story. Many years ago, like 1999, there was an MMA show in Everett that I went to. And it was this was 1999. So it was full of guys that had barely trained. And then, like, the last couple of matches were guys who were actually good. these fights with dudes that didn't know what they were doing were so exciting. They were over in 30 seconds. Just two dudes swinging like crazy, and one dude would knock a guy out, or they'd fall down on the ground, and some dude would like just yank the guy's arm off or whatever. It was so exciting.
Was that the show?
Yes,
Where Bob
you were
Sapp
there.
was booked?
No, it's a different show.
Okay.
But anyway, point of this is, that's what we had here. We had two legit, really scary dudes, Dr. Death and Rick Steiner. But they're not like pro fighters. But they got to go out there and they got to brawl and make you believe it's real. Mm-hmm. And my God, this was UFC 1.
Oh, yeah.
They're just going crazy on each other.
The best tough man fight you ever saw.
It was the best.
Yes.
Then it got broken up and I cried.
When it got broken up, Sullivan and Rotunda joined in.
Well, sure, but the fight was broken up. It was 3-on-1 and they just stomped on him.
They stomped on him. They stripped him down to his underwear. They left him lying. But he got back up and he began to bark in defiance, and all the fans were barking with him.
Okay, so I'm gonna do a spoiler here. I'm gonna cut ahead, but I just got to mention it now. When they did this crazy brawl, and Rick Steiner turned, and Rick Steiner barked, and everybody barked with him, I thought, you know what? Apparently, it was considered a terrible idea in 1988, but given all of the horrible champions we've had over the last decade, I watched this and I thought, you know what? I'd have put that title on Rick Steiner.
Sure.
Why the fuck not? Yeah. Well, the answer came at the end of this show when Rick Steiner did an interview.
It was so abundant.
When I saw that interview, I was like, dude, you cannot make this guy the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. Just no way.
It would not have worked. So we get the Varsity Club versus the Italian Stallion and Randy Hogan, who spelled his name with an E this week. It was a squash. Doc won with a stampede. Do you have anything to add?
Nope.
Varsity Club did a promo. They are happy as a team. They are better off without Rick Steiner. Do you have anything to add?
Nope.
Paul E. dangerously cut a promo. I forgot how much early Paul E. ripped off Roddy Piper. It's pretty blatant here.
I think everybody ripped off Roddy Piper.
Well, I'm sure everyone did to one degree or another. So, his story... he basically just says how great his men are. He said if you want to get personal, I'll tell you something personal. Then he didn't really say anything personal, other than his men are going to beat up. Oh, you know what? I am confused. He introduced his team. The promos later. That's why I got my thing screwed up here. So it's the original Midnight Express versus Phil Holiday and Brett Holiday. I don't think Phil Holiday and Brett Holiday are brothers unless they have a Bubba Ray and Devon thing going on.
That was kind of weird.
So, as you noted, Brian, this was a very boring, mostly pointless show.
Now, did they say Phil Holiday and Brett Holiday, or did they say Phil and Brett Holiday?
Phil Holiday and Brett Holiday.
Okay, all right.
They never said the Holiday brothers.
I see, I got it.
So this is a boring-ass show. I was struggling to pay attention. I was struggling to find anything noteworthy to say. And then Dennis Condrey got in that ring. Dennis Condrey is so great, everyone.
Oh, he's the best.
He is so amazingly great, and he makes it look so easy. He never looks like he's trying hard, but it always looks so great. And Randy Rose is a perfectly fine pro wrestler. They beat these Holidays up, and then Dennis pins Phil with what was called a brainbuster type move.
Oh, it was a brainbuster type move, all right. He lifted him up and dropped him right on his noggin.
He busted his brain.
He killed him.
So then we get the Midnight's promo.
The best part of this Paul Heyman promo is when he's burying Jim Cornette, and he says, Cornette, you were nothing but a photographer driving guys town to town.
Yeah.
I cried.
He did get personal.
Well, no, that's how Paul started.
Well, that too.
That's why it was so funny.
That too. So, he says you were going nowhere until you hooked up with Dennis Condrey. You're a great talker, Jim Cornette, but you never managed Dennis's money. You never managed plane tickets. You never did any of the things a manager is supposed to do. He says, we are not here to prove anything. We don't have to prove anything. We showed that when we showed up here. We're not here to be the best. We're not even here to win titles. We're just here because we hate your stinking guts. And they all start to leave. And then Dennis Condrey comes back. He has more to say. Says, you know, the first time I met Mama Cornette, she was out back behind the building with the rest of the ladies of the evening. And I heard her talking, said Jim Cornette. And she said, Jimmy, I want you to go get me 2 men to manage. Well, she wanted 2 men. but it wasn't to manage. And he walks away.
The best part about this is Dennis Condrey never talked.
Yes.
He was like all of the Midnight Express guys, where Cornette does a promo, they just stand there, they look around, they flirt with the women, they fall asleep, they never say a word. This wasn't even like Shivani or whoever, as the guys were leaving, said, "Can I get a word from you, Condrey?" The interview is wrapped up, they go to leave, and Dennis Condrey just decides, "I've got to say something today." And he stops, and he goes back just to say that line. It's like, wow, you've been saving that up for
5 years, apparently.
5 years, yeah.
Russian Assassin number 1 and Russian Assassin number 2 versus Mike Justice and Curtis Thompson.
All you need to know is Paul Jones's commentary, and Paul Jones is explaining that he's retired. He does not want to wrestle, but he knows that if he got in the ring with Ivan Koloff, he could beat him. He says, "I'm not calling Ivan a weakling, but I wrestled for 15 years. I won every title there was to win." Tony says, "Well, you've heard of rumblings, so you might get a chance to prove yourself." Paul goes, "Well, I've heard nothing about that. I'm just telling you about my abilities." I was like, he's the greatest. And what I would pay to see that match.
Oh, I'm sure it comes.
Oh,
There's a clash coming up, in fact. So, yes, Curtis Thompson is improving, and he has among the best physiques in the show, but they still beat him, and the Assassins pin him with a loaded headbutt.
and then this idiot Teddy Long, he's looking for the gimmick. He can't find it. I'm like, dude, every week on television, we see them load it. We see them take it out after the match. Get with the program, Teddy. No wonder you were such an incompetent SmackDown GM.
Paul Ellering and Hawk do a promo. Yes, only Hawk. He explains that some of Paul Ellering's investors have fallen behind on their payments, so Animal is out taking care of that business, and he's here on the boob tube. He declares Sting and Lex to be the Valley Girl's boyfriends. Warns Lex, if you ever flex your muscles at me and Animal, we're going to kick you in the mouth, you liver-bellied, low-life scumbag.
Yeah.
You're both scared. You're both so scared you're at home where you belong. And then Jim Crockett interrupts. We have a match announcement. Not for Battlestars, not for Starrcade, for the Clash of Champions on December 7th. So Dusty Rhodes and the Road Warriors are still your six-man tag team champions. So it'd be a singles match, Dusty Rhodes against Animal, and the winner will get to choose his partner or partners for these six-man belts.
Clearly in the WCW era now.
Because now we have a plan?
Nah, because it's ridiculous.
I see, yes.
Just strip them and do a tournament.
Or even have the guys pick partners first and do a trios match for these trios titles.
Great,
yes.
whatever.
So Hawk's advice upon hearing that Dusty Rhodes, his advice for Dusty on facing Animal is good stinking luck. I'm not sure that qualifies as advice.
All I know when I watched this was when Hawk comes out and he says, "Where are Sting and Lex?" I was like, where are Sting and Lex? I just saw them like 15 minutes ago. They were out there talking all that trash.
They were at the arena.
Oh, that's right. They were at the arena.
Yes.
They were. You're right.
Yeah. Barry Windham versus Jerry Price. Barry wins with a claw. And then David Crockett interviews Rick Steiner.
Horrific. His first promo after he turns babyface. And he's... Who is he?
Lost.
I mean, he's lost, but I'm trying to think of like a character. Like he's Eugene.
Kinda.
Can you imagine putting the title on Eugene?
Only not as good.
And this was like in the mid-2000s.
Eugene was a better Eugene than Rick Steiner.
It's just horrible.
He's trying to be friendly and chummy and a little out there, but he's just... It's dumb.
This would have... If he'd been made world champion, this place would have sunk.
Yeah. He does say in here, as he's saying, I'm doing all right, and I got my friend the fly in his jar or whatever. Somewhere in there he says, I'm going to knock Sullivan's head off. I'm going to power slam Rotunda. I'm going to beat up Dr. Death, because I got friends now. And he goes in the crowd and says, this person's my friend. That person's my friend. And they just cut away from him.
Yeah.
A fail. A devastating failure. Main event, Abdullah the Butcher versus Eddie Sweat.
So not exactly, but about 10 years ago, we did that shoot interview where I interviewed Abdullah the Butcher. And he was 68 years old at the time and very immobile. But I was petrified. This guy was going to get me. I thought, we're filming. I'm sure, he's a worker. He's probably going to want to grab me and cut me at the end of this video. I'm begging with him. Because this was like, I can't remember when it was, but I got married in July of 2010. So I'm thinking it was earlier in the year because I lied to him. And I told him like I was getting married in a week. I was trying to plead with him, like, don't cut me because...
You're also a worker.
Yeah. So, anyway, I just stayed away from him. But the point is, this Eddie Sweat looked absolutely petrified being in the ring with Abdullah the Butcher. And they were in the back, and the match was like a minute long, and there was nothing to do, and I'm sure he met the guy, they shook hands, they talked over the match or whatever. I'll bet he thought this guy might try to cut me in this match. He looked so scared, and they did like one spot, and then Abby just hits the big elbow.
Abby never even took his headdress off.
Yep, and Eddie Sweat probably thought, "Whew, I survived." And then Abby throws his ass out of the ring and goes and gets his big-ass metal canister and starts hitting him in the head with it.
Right.
I was like, Jesus Christ.
Forgot about that part.
Well, Eddie was right. He was right to be scared.
And then Gary starts to cut a promo, but he gets about 10 words in and they say, we're out of time.
Yeah, he's cutting this promo. Abby starts eating the format. He puts the paper in his mouth and he eats it. There you go.
That's the end of that show.
Yeah, the show wasn't much. We did everything we could to make the show sound exciting, but you really don't need to go out of your way to see it. Is there anything we're seeing on this?
Paulie and Cornette, if you're bored.
Yeah, they were all right.
Really, Paulie. Cornette.
Yeah.
Cornette is good.
They were all right, but there's nothing to see.
I have seen better from both of them, too.
We're watching too much good wrestling. And now I'm watching NWA Power.
What a first world problem that is.
And like the best interviews and the best workers in Crockett are better than the best interviews and the best workers on NWA Power.
Okay.
But, like, Vinny, you should be watching NWA Power every week. It's so good. Like, the promos are better than... Well, I'll just put it this way. The show flows so much better than this show. Mm-hmm. Nobody's out there for too long. The promos are so much better than anything you get in WWE. There's just guys out there doing unscripted promos. The booking is solid. Unfortunately, we have Aaron Stevens wearing what he's wearing, which is a negative. But other than that, like, it's just such a good show. You should watch it, Vinny. I'm telling you. You will enjoy if you watch NWA Power.
I believe you. I'll see what I can do.
That's my suggestion to everybody, because who knows? We may switch to NWA Power because Superstars is ending. We'll have to figure out what we're doing. But anyway, we're